We are going to talk today about the SNES Classic and scalpers and how they're ruining stuff like that. So, to start off, the SNES Classic just was released. It is a console that supplies a slew of classic Super Nintendo games. Great list of titles on it. And you can't find them because people are buying up multiple consoles with the idea of turning around and selling them for massively increased prices on stuff like YouTube. Or not YouTube, eBay.
Yeah, and it's really a shame, because Nintendo is probably envisioning these being played. I know probably their marketing and overall their shareholders probably care more about the sales. And what they're failing to realize is if they could just produce enough to appease gamers who are going to show up because they want to buy the system, actually play and use it, uh, the scalpers, the scalpers will follow with it anyways. I mean, it's not going to keep them from, uh, you know, buying it if there's more available.
Yeah, they go in and they buy up a whole bunch. A similar thing happened when what was it, Fallout? I want to say, was it New Vegas or 4? That did the Nuka-Cola.
I think that was 4.
Yeah, they released those, and I went to the local Target to go get some, just to have. Thought it was cool. And a Target employee had bought every single one of them. Left nothing for anybody else.
And that's a good point to bring up too, because some of these scalpers are people that work at these places. And I get you want to give them a discount, you want to give them a foot in the door, and that's great. They do, people that work at those places should get kind of, first picks when it comes to it. But in a case like that, there needs to be like a internal standard where this is the max you can buy. All right, you can't buy more than any more than 2. You can't hold it for anybody else. You can't, exceed that cap. And I mean, the big thing is just now there's going to be a whole slew of people who will almost never get a chance to play Earthbound or, even Star Fox 2, which never got an official release, as that's almost like literally a brand new Star Fox game that's now being released because it was canceled due to the N64 being right on the horizon, and it was scrapped because they had Star Fox 64 coming out. So this is the first chance for a lot of us. You and I, growing up, never got to play it. We could play it, through the emulation. There, you can find it online, but just to have something more official in your hands, it's just always more reassuring.
Something like this console is a great opportunity for me to share games I grew up and loved with my kids. It doesn't have a very steep price tag. We're talking $79.99, which is relatively a steal for the value you're getting with the console. Each game on here is a gem. I can't think of any game I don't want to play on it. I'll list a list of the games in the comments, in the description.
Yeah, and it's another factor is it's not like this is just a crappy port. These are all upscaled to HDMI and to modern televisions. I can plug in my Super Nintendo with my RGB cables and everything, but I'm gonna have to do a little bit more fiddling to get it to show up right and to play right and to take care of any delay. I'm gonna have to switch it to game mode and switch the resolution around. It doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but in this age of convenience where, can you imagine if cell phones just went away? People would freak because the convenience of, being able to call. Back in the day, we used to have to put in quarters to make phone calls around if we were out and about, or we had to carry a pager for a while, or, cell phones weren't readily available. And it's kind of a similar concept here with the SNES because it is HDMI compatible, and it's plug and play at this point.
Yeah, and it's a huge convenience, and the list of titles are amazing. I mean, you look at some of the titles on here, like Earthbound, or even Super Mario RPG. These games weren't exactly easy to find when we were growing up. You know, you were lucky if you could find Earthbound anywhere. I remember us as kids searching for that game.
Yep.
And, you know, it's an amazing game. There, no matter how old you are, how many times you played it, it's still fun to play. And you couldn't find these games as a kid, and a lot of them were outrageously priced. A lot of people don't remember the days before price regulation.
Yeah, let's save that for another topic, because that could go on for a good bit, you know, because
talk for hours.
Yeah, you know, people are always talking about price for games today, and it's just like, you know, I just dropped $60 on Total Warhammer 2, and the content in there is massive. It outshines the vast majority of games from back in the day, you know. Or Cuphead, I dropped $20 on that, and I mean, that's a title we would have been paying a lot more for. But yeah, I won't go off on a tangent. We can just save that for another time.
Same thing. I picked up Tooth and Tail, and the content in that game, the gameplay, you know, would have dropped a good chunk of money when I was a kid for that. But let's talk about some of the titles on the console itself. And also the fact that, unlike the SNES Classic, this one actually comes with 2 controllers.
Yeah, the NES Classic came with one. And they also, not by much, but they extended the cord on the SNES by, I don't know, maybe like a foot or something, 10 inches. But the fact is, they're both, the cords are longer, so.
Yeah, that's definitely a boon. I know that was one big complaint about the Nintendo Classic, is the cords were just so short, people were having trouble with it. But the fact that it comes with 2 players, I mean, a lot of people, especially me, have fond memories of playing these 2 players as a kid, like Secret of Mana. You know, how many hours did we sink in that game?
Sure, and honestly, I would have liked to have seen maybe some more 2-player titles, but I couldn't think of too many off the top of my head, because the list is solid. I mean, there are even more amazing games that they could have put on there, but overall, for the library that they got on it, it's a broad experience for someone to get a taste of what it was like on the SNES.
Oh, you got everything on here. You got racing games, you got adventure games, you have Super Metroid, which started its own genre of games. You have side scrollers, you have sports games like Super Punch Out. Then you even have some of the amazing RPG titles and JRPG. And it's a wonderful wide variety of games to play on there. You could play it for weeks and never run out of games to actually play. And that's before everybody mods it and throws every game under the sun on it.
Yeah, and you know, I know there's going to be people out there talking about the price might be too high and everything, but you know, like we were saying about the content that you get with it, if you compare the $80 that you would spend roughly on the SNES to, say, $80 worth of Steam games. I'm not talking about like the weekly sale. I'm not talking about garbage games that you could probably get 1,000 games of. You're getting 30 quality games that will, if you want to devote the time and play through all of them, it's going to last you a long time. Even longer if you want to be good at those games, because Super Ghouls and Ghosts is going to kick your butt.
Oh God! You think about it, a lot of these games are available on the Nintendo the store to play on, like your 3DS or your. I don't know if they're on the Switch yet, but I know a lot of these are on the Wii U. You know, these cost anywhere between, what was it, like $7 to $15 a piece.
Yeah.
So the value you're getting in this is amazing.
With the Switch, the Switch doesn't currently have it up, so you know it's not like you can get most of these games, you know, right now, because they haven't updated or decided. Nintendo probably hasn't even decided on what route they want to take with this. All we do know is that Nintendo recently announced that in 2019, I think January, they plan on closing down the Wii Shop, which means also the Wii Shop Virtual Console on the Wii U. So you won't be able to get a lot of the games that you can find for that $7 or $8.
Yeah,
And
that's a shame.
that segues over into the price again. $80. All right, I've got the Earthbound with box, with most of the stuff inside, including Scratch and Sniff, the strategy guide. I could sell that thing from anywhere from $600 to $1,000. A lot of those games,
Secret of
even
Mana,
just for the cards themselves, are going to cost you 10 times as much at least.
I mean,
than buying an SNES.
If you look at games on there like The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and Secret of Mana, both of those will cost you a pretty penny just trying to get the original cartridges.
Yeah, and that ties into it. They're trying to create or allow people to have these wonderful experiences with these collections. But because of the limited stock and the way the current market works with eBay and scalpers, it's not working as intended.
No,
and it's keeping people from playing these games, and it's also furthermore causing ill will against Nintendo, not necessarily per Nintendo's fault completely. I mean, they do have responsibility with it, but because the scalpers are, charging such high prices that people are like $240, $300, I'm going to pass, even if,
I just pulled up eBay to see what we're looking at for scalping costs already. The lowest one I've seen so far is $169. They are more than doubling the cost on this and putting it up on eBay. That is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's stores that are allowing them to get away with this. People are going in buying anywhere between 5 to 15 of these in one sitting. They're clearing out the stock and no one else can get them. There are people that have money to spend and time to go in. A lot of people work during the day, so they can't get there for the releases of these things, and then they lose out. Then they have to wait till they restock and try to get in, and people do the same thing. They go back in and try to clean them out, especially with Christmas coming around the corner. This is going to be a hot ticket item for Christmas, and you're not going to be able to get your hands on it.